I'm D.
And this is another episode of Talking Out with the Greenes. Extremely excited for today. First and foremost, this is our first guest.
Yes.
It's our first guest, first couple that's joining us. And
I'm sorry.
you alright?
I'm trying to hold the coffin, but I don't want to be like, she got COVID.
Oh no.
It probably is COVID. But anyway,
Oh my God.
Anyway, so I'm extremely excited for today. This really makes me feel good about our guest today because first and foremost, it brings our episodes full circle. Everything that we've talked about in our past episodes, they've either been through or kind of like been through the fire. They've been through like their military family or was a military family at one point. They've dealt with stepchildren, but at the same time, for me, it's a part of my upbringing. I'm from 84th Street, Southwest Philly, and they are also from 84th Street. So it makes me feel so good that I can actually get to talk to them, get to pick their brains, and we can talk. Because I had an example that I didn't know that I actually had, and I actually got to see it. So without further ado, the Upchurchs. So, tell us a little about yourselves, like about y'all marriage, like about y'all relationship, a little bit.
We laugh a lot. You gotta laugh.
Yes.
Gotta laugh.
Laugh.
So how long have you guys been married, or I'm sorry, together and married?
I can give you the marriage part.
All right, let's go with the marriage part.
27 years?
27.
Yeah.
Yikes.
7 years.
I'm gonna put it on her for the
All right.
32 years together.
32 years together?
Wow.
All right, so here's the thing, right? Y'all make our 11 feel real small.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is that my whole thing is that how do you guys feel about this generation getting to 27 years opposed to y'all generation? It's more normal that you guys get to like 20 years, 30 years. But in our generation, we got people, a massive amount of people that at 30 and 40 years old, they're still single. So 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, because, you know, the one thing we have promised with life is death and taxes.
Right.
They're probably not going to get to 30 years of marriage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how do you guys feel about like our generation actually getting to that?
Well, I think on my end, me personally, my parents were together until they both went to glory.
Mm-hmm.
40 something years, I believe. Yeah, 40 something years. So the way it looks to me, the way it worked out for me was that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of all the craziness that was going on with them, they never let me or my brother see anything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they were together. So all I see is being together. These kids nowadays, they don't see that because these parents now are just, they're your homies. They're not, you know what I mean? And they're just, they don't come up in the same values that we all came up in our era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My mom didn't play that. You know, my dad didn't play that.
Right.
You know, my mom had no problem, hooking me if I did something
Not
crazy.
at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
There's one time I thought I had never been hit, and I used to box. I've never been hit as hard as my mom hit me. So it was just like, these kids, they don't know, because these parents, they just want what society is now.
So they don't have those values and
No,
instill
at
in
all.
them.
At
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Everybody just trying to get in relationships, get what they can get, and then get out.
Yeah, see,
It's corny. It's corny.
See, what's crazy about that is that you say that, right? And then I feel as though that, all right, so your generation is who raised our generation, right?
Right.
So it's like you would think that we would have it together to the point where we can be married and things like that. But in my personal opinion, I think the world has gotten in the way of it a little bit. Like, so you have social media, you have so many different factors that kind of like get in the way, and I feel as though that it's like we live in a land of no rules.
Right.
So it's almost like it's like all choice. Like everybody feels as though they're entitled to a choice. No one wants to actually
Put the work in.
no one wants to actually
I know for me, you know, I grew up, it's 8 of us. My mom and dad, we're seeing mom and dad. My mom left my dad when I was about 12, 13. And she raised us by herself, you know. It was hard. But I watched that. I watched how it was when my mom and dad was together versus how it was when she was by herself. And we struggled. I had to be a babysitter. I had to be a mom. I had to be, you know, alongside of being a big sister. So I watched those things, and I didn't want my kids to grow up like that. And I'm not saying that it pushed me to want to be married, but it's pushing me to want to work things out that comes up within my marriage. So, you know, some people don't have that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I had my parents, they divorced when I was about 11.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but like we had some struggles back then, but then they became best friends again.
Okay.
You know, over the years. And even with my stepdad, like it was a struggle in the beginning. But my mom and stepdad still together. They've been together, 40-something years.
Wow. Yeah.
So, so to see them with their ups and downs, you know, and my father still being friends with my mom, like we all have dinner together. So
that's a good thing. You can do that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people. It's like that's not normal, but that's normal for us.
Right.
That's all we knew.
Right.
You know, we have dinners together, Thanksgiving, Christmas celebrations. We all do it together as a family.
So obviously you were young, like, you know, you were 11, like your parents divorced, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you might have some type of memory of that. If you do or you don't, do you ever, if you have memory of that, like, do you ever look at it as, like, that was an example of what not to do today?
Some things, yeah.
Some things, yeah. Yeah, so growing up for me, I had plenty of examples of what not to do. I didn't have a lot of examples of what to do, but and this is coming from a man's perspective. Shout out to my mom, because she did an amazing job. And shout out to my stepfather, because he did an amazing job coming into a teenager that really didn't want to listen to anybody. But regardless of that, I had a whole lot of what not to do. I never really had an example growing up of exactly what to do as far as a marriage is concerned. My mom taught me very well how to treat a woman, but not necessarily a marriage, because with the whole marriage thing, that's an altogether different dynamic. Because now you're in a marathon, not a sprint. It's a relationship, but it's more than that. So it's a very interesting dynamic. So I've only found out what not to do instead of what to do. I didn't have an example, but here you guys are, and I actually did have an example, but I didn't even know that was an example. Like, I had no idea. Like, I had no clue. Like, and it's funny. I'm gonna tell the story anyway. When I reunited with the producer, Chris, shout out to Chris. When I reunited with him, it was crazy because, like, the first thing out of my mouth was, I came to his house and I'm standing there in front of his house, and I think you walked by first, and I looked and I was like, she looked exactly the same. I have never seen nothing like this. And then you came home, you walked by, you was like, yo, what's up? I was like, he looked exactly the same.
He came and he told me, he was like,
I need to know the secret.
He was like, yo, his mom and dad look the same. And I was like, okay, that's a good thing, right? He was like, no, D, but they look the same. Like, all right.
But yeah, like, I'm 40. Yeah, and he was running around with me when I was 10. Like, that don't make sense. Like, I'm like, yo, how they look the same? I need to know the secret. Like, I need to know what they did compared to what I'm doing. Like, because if I'm not doing that, that's what I need to start doing.
Okay.
Or some type of...
She gave us the secret. She
laugh
said,
a lot.
gotta laugh.
Yeah.
Gotta laugh a lot. And you know what? It's funny because I think we laugh enough, but not necessarily a lot.
We laugh just off geeking off of each other.
Yeah.
Like, we was in there watching something the other day, and I said something about what somebody did on the TV, and then we just kind of elaborated. It was like real stupid and silly, but we had a blast.
Yeah.
We enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So enjoying each other's company, right? So I hate to be the messy one, but I gotta do it.
Go ahead.
So enjoying each other's company. It has to be points in times where you guys do not enjoy each other's company. It has to be 27 years. Like, it has to be, and it could be 5 minutes, it could be 2 days, right? And it could be just like, you know what, I do not feel like, and I'm speaking for you because I know how we are as men, I I do not feel like dealing with his shit today. Like, it's not the day. How do you handle that? Or how do you handle it?
Actually, bro, and as crazy as this is gonna sound to you, I never had that feeling.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm being so straight up. The one thing that I need is when I come home from work, give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
Don't bombard me with all the stuff
So
that
you
happened.
guys have learned each other.
Yes.
And so you just give him his minute to decompress.
Or even if she decides to be like, you know what, I gotta tell you this, I'll be like, babe, just give me 10 minutes.
Okay.
I gotta go. I gotta do my OCD stuff because I gotta do stuff before I actually go upstairs and change.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't. I gotta fill up my water jar for tomorrow. I gotta put my keys where it belong. I gotta check my whatever. I gotta do this and I gotta do that. Then I go upstairs and change.
Okay.
Then I come down. I get my drink. And then I sit down. I click on YouTube a little bit on my tablet. Chill for about 10-15 minutes. Get a couple sips of that. Get that.
I'm at home. It's
Yeah,
time
good.
to relax.
Yeah.
See, usually I say, "That's good to be home." That means I'm ready.
Right.
And that's just my situation every day.
See, that's because y'all have a whole system going on, and you know, like, oh, he just got in. Let me give him some time.
Yeah.
but
See,
you know
we're
what's
still learning.
You know what's funny though?
Uh-oh.
If he gets home before I do, and he's already had one, and I come in,
It flips.
Oh, it flips.
it's like, okay, I know you just got in, I know you're tired.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm gonna shut up. I said, I can listen.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything, it's because I don't have anything to say.
Right.
I can listen to you.
Right.
You know, go ahead and bang it out. I don't care.
Because I know.
So the
I
funny
know.
thing is with me and Denise, like, I'll talk to her at lunch, maybe talk to her on her way to work. I'm sorry, I said that out of work. I'll talk to her on the way to work, talk to her at lunch, and then maybe talk to her on the way home from work. And then she'll get home, and she might say the same exact thing and be like, hold up. We just talking about it.
Right.
It's like, hold on.
Yeah, we don't talk that often.
Or what happens is I'll get home, she just came home from work, and I'll get home, yo, let me tell you what happened at work. She's like, or like she's watching her show. Like if she's watching one of her shows, like she'll turn around and be like, and I'll be like, oh, all right.
Oh, my bad,
Like,
my
and I don't
bad.
get mad. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a mad thing. It just be like, oh, all right, bet.
You know what? I feel like we talking about on our way to work and everything, and you know that's productive. We're just seeing what we got to do that day and things like that. And then we might talk on lunch. That's if he's not busy or if I'm, done with patients or whatever. And not too often we talk on our way home unless we're doing something different or not going straight home. But when I get home sometimes and I had a busy day, I work with cancer patients. I need that minute, like you said.
Yeah, you
so I'll just turn the TV on and I'll just zone out. And he'll come in and be like, "Hey, D, let me tell you." And I'm like,
No.
"You see me
Yo,
looking at TV?"
Like, but you know what though? I mean, okay, so it's been 11 years, and 11 years is a good amount of time, right? But in that 11 years, I have learned what that look means.
15 years together, 11.
Yeah, well, I was just speaking on the marriage part, but yeah, 15
That's
years.
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
That's more than the average.
Yeah.
Way more than
we
that.
are definitely above the curve
Oh
here.
my God.
But here's the thing, like when she look at me like that, I don't get mad anymore.
Right.
That has been, we have evolved to that.
I still listen to you though.
No,
It's just-
I shut it down. Like I'll be like, all right, bet. Like, all right, I'm done. But we want to take a quick, brief break, and we'll be right back. back. So with the Upchurchs, we have talked about evolvement and how they decompress with each other. We talked about they've been married for 27 years, so we still want to dig into that. But the biggest thing we want to dig into at this point is we have something in common. Me and Denise, we are considered a military family, and they also was a military family at one point prior service. Thank you for your service. I still appreciate you.
Sir, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So when you guys were, when you were active in the military, how did that work? Like, I know, sometime in the 90s that you were active, right? Mm-hmm. Could y'all kind of like share that story? And what I really want to hear is your side of it, right? We have our side of it because we were their members. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that the wives have their own side and their own story. So I definitely want to hear both of you guys' point of view as far as this, because the point of views are polar opposite. Like, so, yeah, they're polar opposite. It's crazy, but...
How long were you guys together before you enlisted? Or were you in prior?
So we got together in 90. He went off 96.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were married prior for a year.
A year before we went out.
Okay.
So y'all were married prior
To join
just 1 year.
Yes.
That's awesome because we just figured out that we have something in common. So we got married 2 months before I went to Afghanistan.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So our whole first year of marriage, I was in Afghanistan.
Oh,
Continue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Continue. We definitely got something in common. I never knew that. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so but like I said, we were together from 90 to then. He had to went to basic. That was rough.
Fort Jackson.
Yeah. When he went to basic, it was rough. And when he did AIT, that was rougher.
Okay.
I suffered from panic attacks. And I didn't know that's what it was back then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because at the drop of a hat, my heart could just start racing for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting rushed to the hospital like back
They
to
thought it was
back.
like heart attacks.
That's what it felt like,
Mm-hmm.
but it was panic attacks.
Yeah.
So I think with the unknown of what he's doing down there, gave me, and then we had separation anxiety as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the demographics of the 90s, this is the early 90s, right?
It was like 96.
96. Okay, so like the demographic of that, like what was going on in 1996, I can just imagine. Like I think the World Trade Center, the first bombing had like
It
shut
happened after he got back.
I got out in 2000, so it literally
No, the
happened.
first one, the one that failed.
Oh yeah.
The one that failed.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that one happened in like maybe 93, 94.
I think so, yeah.
Or give or take. Clinton just took
And then
over.
you signed on. I can only imagine how you was like, oh my God, what is going on? Where are they going to be able to go?
Right. Yeah.
Clinton was on his way out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all the black people was going to jail. yeah, that was a tough time. That was a tough time.
That was definitely a tough time.
Yeah.
So you signed up. What made you sign up?
All right. We used to live in Corman, right? Right there. You know what Corman is. Right there on 85th and...
Apartment 509, baby.
All right, so we lived in Corman. That was our first apartment after my parents had a fire in the house. So her father let me stay with them while my parents got the house put together. So we sitting there, we living together. And she ended up being able to get an apartment at Corman. Now, at that time, Corman was the spot.
Absolutely.
It was the spot. So we moved in there, and our first sergeant lived above us.
Really?
Yeah. Like we would come out, every night we would come out, sit in front, because we had the bottom floor.
Yeah.
We had the top floor. Every night we would sit out and drink,
y'all would sit right underneath the tree. I remember.
Yeah, we just drank every night. We just drank and just chilled and just
Not every night. We drink more now. It was like weekend drinkers back then.
I thought it was every night.
Hey, listen, I remember y'all had a tree. Y'all had a tree right in front of y'all apartment, and y'all used to sit right there. It was guaranteed that y'all was sitting right there. How I remember that? I know that might be crazy. I know that might seem creepy, but I remember I used to walk by y'all all the time. Like, damn, I gotta hurry up and get home because y'all literally lived right across the parking lot from where I live.
Right.
Like I walked past the dumpsters and then my apartment was right there. So oh yeah. Continue.
All right, so at the time, every time we was outside drinking, he would pull up from work and he has his his BDUs on and everything. And he pulled up at the time that the hottest car at the time was a Passport. Honda Passport.
Okay, I
Looked like a
remember those.
Passport.
I remember those.
You remember those?
I remember those.
So it was like every night, and then he would go up, and he was a bachelor, so he was single, so he would come back out late, going out, just go have fun, right? So one day he comes in, he has that passport again, and I said, "Excuse me, what do you do to live this lifestyle?" He was like, "Oh, I'm in the military." I was like, "Oh, okay. So if I join the military, will I be able to live like you?" He was like, "Yeah, easy." I was like, "Can I join the military?" He was like, "All right, I'm going upstairs to give you a practice test, bring it back down to you." I was like, "All right, cool." So we go into sat in the dining room, and he came down with the test. I took the test, banged it, boom, boom, bip. He was just like, "Oh, okay. All right, so you really interested?" I was like, "Yeah."
So wait, what test was this? Was this like
Pre-test for the ASVAB?
For the ASVAB.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Pre-test for the ASVAB. I destroyed it, like, because we was just right out of high school, so brain was just still, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I told him, I was just like, "Yeah, hey, you know what I mean?" So he's telling me, so he's giving me his spill, because he was stationed downtown at the Mets building.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like perfect. So
Yeah.
as a first sergeant, he kind of just threw me in, like, "Yeah, I got you." So I went down there, and I think I got a 116 out of a.
Damn, that's like a 130.
Yeah, I got a 116.
Damn.
I got a 116.
Okay.
So he said, "Yo, with a 116, you can do just about anything." So he was like, "I'm gonna give you 31 uniform. Signal support system specialist."
I know exactly what it is.
Combo.
That's the
Pretty
best
much.
thing you could do.
Yeah.
Out of a one, boy, I wish I could see that first sergeant. So, go ahead. Continue.
So he was like, "Yeah, take this. When you get out, you're gonna be good." And from that point on, everything is history. I mean, came, swore in, and I'm chilling at the crib, and a white van pulls up. Then let's go. I'm like, "Oh, snap." Yeah, put me on the van, shipped me out. I was at Fort Jackson. Just like that.
That's how that worked.
That's how I worked then.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like-
You see me
That's
looking
how
at
I
you
worked
like
it.
that.
No, it didn't quite. They didn't quite do that. So when I went to basic training, it was the middle of a blizzard. Never forget it. February 28th. I'll never forget it. And it was let me see, about 15 months after 9/11, and I had never been down south before, and they literally put me in a pickup truck, took me to Mets in Jersey, and then next thing I know, I was on a plane to go to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I had never been down south before, and this was in 2003. So me being me, I had this big ass beard, right? Like, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not cutting my beard until I get there." Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not cutting my beard until I get there. And this big ass beard, and I get down there and put my feet on the yellow footprints.
Right.
And I get down there, and the first thing they say to me was, "Oh, we got ourselves a city boy." And I'm like, "So you just gonna stand here and call me boy? First of all, like." So never been down south before, didn't understand anything really about down south. So it was definitely an experience for me. So when he left, how did you feel? Like, obviously kids were involved.
Especially the way he left. It's not even like y'all was like, "All right, babe."
Well, we kind of knew when it was coming. That
that they pulled up.
I didn't expect it.
We knew
You
that, like, he was going to leave this date.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, so working up to it, it was rough. When he left, it was rougher. It's like, that's my right hand. What I'm supposed to do with myself now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just like, I just felt lost. I really did.
Yeah.
I had my family still, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. So I know we had got married, and the reason why Denise wanted to wait, she wanted to wait until I got back. My biggest thing was, we need to get married now, because this mission that I'm going on is dangerous. Like, it's not the typical mission where I'm just going to be chilling in Afghanistan. No, this is dangerous. So I need you to be taken care of if something was to happen to me. Like,
seriously.
we need to do this now, like, before we leave.
I just didn't want to rush it because we was together 4 years before he proposed.
Well, 4 years is
And
a
then-
good amount of time.
Yeah, and he proposed on Christmas. We found out maybe a little after that he was getting deployed to Afghanistan. And then he was like, well, we need to get married now. And I'm like, no, let's just do it when you get back because I know that you're coming back, you know. And he was like, no, we need to do this now because I don't know what might happen.
Right.
And it was just a debate. And
I'm glad y'all did it the way you did it.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, he was like, all right, I planned out the whole wedding. You just need to go get your dress and show up.
Wow.
I was like,
yes.
okay.
Yes. The man planned out the wedding. I did that. Yes.
That's so different.
Yes.
Yes. I'm that guy. Yes, that's me. I did that. Yup.
You say, okay.
Yup.
I did. I was like, okay.
She showed up with her dress like a dude. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what she did. She showed up like a dude. I was the one waiting for her, make sure she was coming.
You don't say it like that.
I didn't know. I thought
He
maybe
did.
you wouldn't come.
No, he did. He was like, all right, I planned everything. So just go get your dress and what food do you want? Because we're gonna have like a little reception at Maggiano's. We're just gonna invite our family. And I was like, all right, well, what you mean with food? Like, you know, and he was like, yeah, just pick the food. So I picked out what I wanted. We agreed. And then he was like, yeah, go get your dress. And I was like, okay, so am I doing a formal dress? Am I doing like, where are we getting married at? I didn't even know anything.
Right.
I was going to work every day.
Right.
And he was like, whatever you want. And I was like,
That's
okay.
beautiful.
And then he told me, it was like at a chapel, it was called With This Ring.
Downtown.
It was downtown on Vine Street. And so I went and I got me a little dress, nothing too formal. And I showed up.
Yeah,
we
like,
already had the kids.
but the
so.
thing is that this is how a military family is altered, right? Because a lot of times, like, you know, it's like, as men, they think, like, people think that it's all about the money because we get paid more to be married.
Right.
But it's really not, for me. I can't speak for nobody else. But for me, it really wasn't that. It was like, I want her to be taken care of because I know what it is if we're not married.
Exactly.
It's called nothing.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
See, I'm right where you were at because it wasn't about, like I said, we was already married before I even decided to join.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just only icing on the cake, but I wanted her to be taken care of too.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things like, hold up, y'all not going, like, and then when they talk to you, they're like, yeah, well, that's your girlfriend, so you're not going home if something happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's your girlfriend. Like, it's not your wife. Now, because they'll straight tell you, like, yeah, you can't put in no Red Cross message for your girlfriend.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, they're straight up telling you. So it's like, so if something happens to my kids or something happens to her, I can't go home. Oh no, we gotta do this right now.
Yeah, because then they had some type of thing where you had to, if you were just boyfriend girlfriend, you had to give up your parental rights to the.
So if you're a single parent, you have to give up your parental rights in order to join. But you can get your parental rights back once you get done basic training at AIT. So that's pretty much how that works. And then you have to have what they call a family care plan. So it's one of those things where it's like, no, we got to do this right now.
Yeah.
The one thing that marriage, it kicked us in our ass because it was a long distance relationship, something that we never had.
Right.
But it's our first year of marriage too. But I think it was the gift and the curse because I think it taught us how to communicate with each other without physical contact, without being in each other's face.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. But the curse was that we didn't know how to live with each other being married. Like, had no idea. So when I came back home,
it felt like the marriage changed some things.
Yeah, it definitely did.
But it made us stronger. I feel being away that whole year.
Yeah.
It taught us to communicate better. And I had no one to rely. Well, I'm not gonna say that I had our family, but it's nothing like having that in-house person.
Yeah.
So he left. I was stuck with a 6-month-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Wow.
By myself.
Right.
Thank God. My mom, my sisters, my mother-in-law, they were all there for me when I needed them. But I'm prideful, so I won't ask you for help.
Right.
That's just me.
I can dig that.
But they came. My mother-in-law, she would just show up. And I'm like, what the hell is she doing here? And she's like, I know you need help. Let me come in here and get them kids. And she would come in. She would help me clean the house. And she would just take the kids and do stuff, you know?
Awesome.
So for me, that was a big, big help.
Yeah.
And at the time, we lived across the street from my brother which was he was a help as well. So
he
it just was
he would come over and take the trash out to the curb for me because there was
Nice.
a lot of trash and everything. You know, it was just me.
Yeah.
I would go food shopping. He would see me like putting all the bags of food in the house, so he would come because mind you, I had the car seat.
Right.
I had a 2-year-old. My daughter would help. She wasn't much help. She was 8.
Right.
And then my sisters, they were younger. They didn't have lives like they have now.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
they were a big help. They would come over and they would help me and they would watch them just so I can go out and get a break.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna
So
like
it
the
was
fact-
good.
They ain't gonna like the fact that you said they ain't had no lives, but I'm gonna let that
No,
go.
they were. So I shouldn't say that, but they were teenagers.
Don't try.
No, listen.
No, we gonna go with that
No, listen. They were teenagers, so they didn't really have much going on. So when big sister called, I'm the oldest.
Right.
I would call and be like, "Hey, I need you to come over. I need you to just watch them. Just let me take a shower, wash my hair, and get some sleep."
Right.
And my youngest sister, Latisha, she would come over and she would watch them, and I would be like, "Oh my God, the house is quiet." She would cook, put a cartoon movie on. Everybody's quiet. And I would be like, "Yes,
Wow.
yes."
Well, see, when he was going, it was just me and him.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a ritual every Friday night. He went to my mom's.
So you had time.
I was by myself.
Oh
Poured
yeah.
out my mind. Like,
Yeah.
what do I do now?
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
she'd be calling for him. Like, is Chris coming? We got the pizza and all this.
Yeah.
Like,
He's just talking about
like
that.
almost like, can I come too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, we on our way, and then I'll just leave him and then come back
Right,
home.
right.
So that's what I
But
was.
yeah, it was very lonely.
So I had no idea. You said 96, so that means being as though it was 96. I actually knew y'all prior to you being in the military.
yeah,
I
that's
had
what he
no
said.
idea.
Yeah.
No, because I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like 96. Shit, I was there prior to 96.
Yeah,
like, you know what I
was.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like, yo, like I had no idea that I knew like you just up and just joined the military. But like I said earlier, like it was an example that I didn't know I had. Like
Right.
even though I was watching.
So how long were you in?
Just 4 years.
Okay.
From
And so
96
you
to
did
2000.
the basic training,
AIT.
AIT, and then
And-
did you get deployed somewhere?
For hood.
Thank
Okay.
God he
Yeah.
didn't
And
go
how
away.
long were you away at
6
that point?
months.
What, far as basic training in AIT?
Mm-hmm.
2 months basic training, 4 months AIT, so 6 months.
Okay, and you didn't have to go to Iraq, Afghanistan,
No,
Kuwait.
never got deployed.
all that stuff.
Because when I was in, it was peacetime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after I got out, probably like 6 months later,
That's when everything went to
that's
hell.
when 9/11 happened.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
So I
Yeah,
just missed
yes,
it.
Okay.
next
You
year.
just
I
missed it.
just
You
missed
just missed it. And here I come.
Yeah.
And here I come. Like
I'm just so
Yeah.
happy that you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, me
And-
too.
Yeah, it was
you
pretty.
you still got the benefits of it.
Oh,
Right.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. A lot of people don't realize that.
Mhm.
So that you
Yeah.
still get the benefits even if you don't go anywhere or, you know, even if you just do that one term.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Get
Yeah.
job bill, VA loan. I don't have no benefits. I don't have to pay for benefits. I just go to the VA.
Right.
I got my little medical card.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I got a disability. I injured my shoulder.
Mhm.
So I get like $150-something a month, you know,
Yeah.
and it goes up each year
Yeah.
as I move up, supposedly in rank.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get it I'm at 20% now. I'm trying to get it to at least 90%.
Mhm.
And
How do you feel about ever joining again?
actually, I kind of thought about it at one point.
Did you?
Because like income wise, at one point it was kind of rough.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm not a college guy. I
Yeah.
never go to college.
Mhm.
I graduated high school, obviously,
Yeah.
Right.
but I never went to college. So that's why we instill in. I was about to point it. That's why we instill in our kids that y'all have to get
Some
degrees.
type of background.
Yeah,
Yeah,
better
y'all
than
gotta
you
go to
did.
But
college.
you do know a lot of military folk, they are right out of high school. I
Right.
mean, granted, the people that's joining now, they are college folk that want to get those student loans paid and
Yeah.
everything. So it's a little different.
Right.
So versus
Yeah.
when you guys
Yeah,
had
so
joined.
I know for me that was my alternative. At the time, 2002, 2003, everybody was running to Sallie Mae, Fannie Mae, whatever you call them, to
Yeah.
get a student loan. And for some reason, I didn't know nothing about nothing of today, but for some reason to me, that just did not make sense. So it just was like, why would I get a loan? And I don't even know what I want to even do there.
Right.
I'm extremely irresponsible to go to anybody's college campus right now.
Right.
So this is not a good idea. So I literally went against the grain and was like, you know what? I'm joining the military. This was one of those things where 13 months after 9/11, I'm joining the military. So no one agreed with me. Everyone thought I was crazy. Like, what are you doing? But it was one of those things where a recruiter came in and what he was saying made sense.
Right.
It just made sense, even though I knew that I was in a situation where probably got to go to somebody's war. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like got peace with that at that moment of me actually enlisting. All my friends from Delaware, 84th Street was like, you doing what?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I'm like, because I don't have no other choice. Like, I'm working at a moving company. I need some type of life. Like, you know what I mean? So what am I going to do?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at.
So that brings me to the point of, I really feel as though, in my personal opinion, with this generation, my generation, y'all generation, you only got two options once you hit 18.
Seriously.
It's either you going to college or you joining the military.
Exactly.
And hopefully you can combine both of them.
Right.
Seriously.
So it's just one of those things where I just feel as though, like, what else you going to do?
Right.
Like,
But
tell me.
I also feel like, you know, the military has brought out some things in you because although you didn't go to college, you was able to use your communications for IT, and now you're in IT and you're doing pretty well for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Versus you also have the trucking. So you can go and just get a trucking job, you know what I mean? So the military does have those things, whereas though you get training there, it's just like a trade school. You don't necessarily have to go to college.
It is the biggest misconception as far as a professional, as far as what you pick as a as your job. It's the biggest misconception. Everybody has this misconception of you're going to war. Okay, you might. Yeah. Like in this time,
but like in your situation,
however,
you didn't have to, so there's that 50-50 chance.
Yeah, in his time, in his situation, you didn't have to. But you might have to go to war. Okay, cool. But just because you go over to Afghanistan don't mean you're actually doing anything. You could be pushing papers.
I remember you was telling me that people were just working in the cafeteria.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know.
I'm like, but why are you driving out there with the people? Like, you know, you could go feed the people. Go give them their
absolutely.
food.
So,
like, that's not
so
my
to
job.
the young people, to the young people watching, I just want all of y'all to know it's not one profession, not one, that you can think of that's not in one of those branches of the military.
You're absolutely right.
And with saying that, we're taking a break.